Hi, and thanks for joining me today. I'm Jennifer Morgan. I'm a Hunter Education Program Coordinator with the New Mexico Department of Game and Fish. And today I'm going to provide you some tips on how to build a solid shooting foundation for hunting. You can follow along with me on pages 21 through 23 in your Hunter Education Manual. If you don't have a manual, you can download one for free at the link provided. If you're new to shooting, it's important to figure out your dominant eye. Just like we have a dominant hand, we also have a dominant eye. Very few of us have the ability to shoot well with both eyes. So it's important for you to determine your dominant eye to increase your accuracy, especially when shooting a shotgun or a bow. Okay, so let's determine your dominant eye. In order to do this, find a small fixed object out in the distance. I'm going to use the camera so you guys can better understand what I'm trying to show you. So find a small fixed object in the distance and look at it with both eyes open. Take your hands and make a small triangle by crossing your thumbs and your fingers just like that. Okay? So by looking at that small fixed object and have a small triangle, don't make a big one, make it nice and small. Slowly bring your hands back to your eye. And whatever eye you come back to is your dominant eye. And by me looking at the camera, you can see that I'm coming straight back to my dominant eye, which is my right eye. Now, many of us might be right-handed, left eye dominant. That's totally common. So don't think that you're some kind of weird outlier out there. Lots and lots of hunters and shooters have cross-eye dominant. So for me though, I am right hand dominant, so I'm right eye. But many people I know are left-handed right eye dominant. So it's very important that you use your dominant eye. If many of us have tried to write with our non-dominant hand, it's just not very good. Same with your dominant eye. So a lot of hunters or a lot of shooters will try to retrain their non-dominant eye for hunting and shooting. And that's when they become very frustrated because they are not able to hit their mark because they're using the weaker eye. So if you're a new shooter, I highly recommend that you stick with your strong or dominant eye, and it will increase your accuracy and success and less frustration. You're a clean slate, you don't have to retrain anything. So stick with using that dominant eye for increased accuracy and success. Okay, so now that you know your dominant eye, you can start practicing and sighting in your rifle. I'm not going to go into detail on the exact steps on how to sight in your rifle, as there's many effective ways to do this. I'm going to provide you some very basic, simple steps to provide you a solid foundation for sighting in your rifle. There are a few different types of sights that you can use: open, peep, telescopic, or more commonly known as scoped. These can be found on page 13 of your Hunter Education Manual. Today I'm going to focus on an open type of sight for a rifle. So for this bolt action rifle, this is an open sight. We have the rear sight, which has a little notch in the back for a sight window. Then the front sight can be made up of a post or a bead. Here's how it should look when your front and rear sights are properly aligned with the target. This is telling us that the bullet is going to hit in the middle of the target. If your sights are off to one side or the other, or too high or too low, it will affect the travel of the bullet and where it hits on the target. When sighting in, shoot 3 times at the middle of your target. Continue shooting until the bullet holes are in a relatively small group on the target. If the group is not in the middle of your target, the sights will need to be adjusted. For an open sight, the rear sight will be adjusted in the same direction the shot needs to be moved on your target. As you see on this illustration from the Today's Hunter Student Manual, the rear sight needs to be adjusted up and left so you can hit the bullseye. So when you're out shooting or practicing with your rifle, it's important to also work on your trigger squeeze by applying slow, steady pressure to that trigger. If you jerk or hit the trigger too quickly or use too much finger on the trigger, it can cause your rifle to move just enough to cause you to miss your mark. Remember, ethical hunters know their personal accuracy and limit their shots to the ones they are most comfortable with. Don't take shots that are outside the maximum effective range of your equipment and skill level. It takes time to master this. To provide you some additional skills on sighting in a rifle scope, be sure to watch a short video offered by Hunters Connect at the link provided. I hope you have found these tips to be helpful in building a solid foundation for shooting your rifle. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week when I'll cover shooting position.